Thanks for staying with us. You're welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. A groundbreaking social finance initiative designed to transform grassroots economic empowerment for women and youth across Nigeria will be officially unveiled here in Lagos on Monday, December 9th. The initiative is put together by a group of stakeholders who are motivated to reach out and impact the growing incidence of underemployment and joblessness being made worse by the current negative spiral in Nigeria's economy. For a chat on addressing the deprivations of Nigerian women and youth, especially in undeserved communities, we're now been joined by Dr. Nwakwesi, who's the lead convener and executive chairman, Women Aligned for Growth in the company, with Lady Gwen Abiola-Oloke, who's the chairperson of DI Africa. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good to have you join us on the morning show today.
Good morning.
Absolutely.
All right, good to have you come talk to us about this groundbreaking initiative. I believe that the good news is what will happen on Monday, the December 9th.
Tuesday,
it's
actually.
Tuesday
Tuesday
night,
night.
actually. That's correct. I mean, there's an error there from people at the back end. Tuesday the 9th at the NIA.
At
is
the
that correct?
Nigerian Institute of International Affairs.
Absolutely.
Go for Abayomi.
All right, so
Okay.
talk to us about what is about to happen. There's 10 billion naira or something like
10
that, big
billion
amount. Starting point.
Okay, you know, life is about purpose and passion. Life is about finding solutions to challenges in our society. And of course, one morning I woke up and I said, there needs to be a structured financing pathway to be able to contribute fund to upskill women and youth impact. I am a behavioral specialist. I talk about growth mindset and integrative lifestyle. And I said, I can't do this alone. I must seek capacity, competence, compassion, and empathy. And that's how Lady Gwen Abiola-Oloke, who is actually a member of the board of the Women Aligned for Growth and also heads the WAG Impact Fund, I sent it to her. She didn't say anything to me. Then one day she calls me. I said, Ife, you have a fantastic idea. She is in the funding space. So she put together this strategic document. Honestly, the day I finished reading it, I started crying. Well, why was I crying? I was crying for gratitude to God, for purpose, passion, capacity, competence, compassion, and empathy. Yeah. And so we're putting that together, and it's all about sensitizing the public on the need to have a structured fund created on the principle-centered values of honesty, integrity, and capacity and competence. So I'd like Lady Gwen to please speak more on the fund. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting us. Really, this is nothing new. The only thing is in an initiative that is innovative. Yeah. Philanthropy has always been is a part of our culture. In fact, there's data that says that Nigeria in particular, 20% of people's earnings go into charity. So charity today in Africa and in Nigeria is very fragmented, but it happens. We have data that says $22 billion goes through Nigeria annually from philanthropy, CSR, community giving, and charity. All we are saying is, can we have a system, a structured way where charity can become productive, not just a one-off activity? You know, so the $10 billion naira, it's not a new amount. It's really just taking a fragment of what already is in circulation in the form of charity and philanthropy and putting it into this vehicle that is very intentional about upscaling women and youth. Measurable, impactful, accountable, and then there's co-ownership. Now, the way we've structured it, we want people not to see charity as just a given. They want to see charity as empowerment and not really grants. So they are recoverable funds. The fund has a system where we are giving the beneficiaries are cluster enterprises. The cluster enterprise structure is not new also to Nigeria. We've taken that from the Grameen Bank model, where you have, mutual accountability, and there's a shared risk within the cluster. And also it helps to accelerate impact. If you have one intervention impacting 5 or more businesses, then you're accelerating the number of livelihoods and all of your impact metrics. So There will be cluster beneficiaries doing business within communities, and then they will contribute a certain portion of that fund, of whatever the project cost is, so that they have a skin in the game. They have some commitment to the project. And then the fund brings that. We are proposing a zero interest fund, maybe with some very minimal fees, just to cover costs. But this is where we are talking about real grassroots blending of finance. Preparing, pipeline micro businesses, formalizing these businesses and getting them, enhancing financial inclusion and preparing the pipeline for other conventional financing vehicles like the microfinance, the community banks, and all of that. So this is a structure where we are just turning charity into commercial and purposeful investment that is revolving. That 60% that is given to the clusters or to the beneficiaries is recoverable. So it is charity that revolves itself. Does not deplete. So that is where the sustainability comes in the fund.
And so in terms of the businesses that you plan to be working with, what kinds of businesses are these? And I think I'm asking this because a lot of times when people hear the word empowerment, it sometimes can be synonymous with a little bit of a handout. Yes. So how are you ensuring that, empowerment doesn't just mean I'm giving these women and young people money? How are you ensuring that this is something that is, maybe generational and can be built upon?
Okay, let me attempt this, and I'll put it this way. We are in the women impact space, and I'm one of those people that look at the fundamental issues we have in our lives. We know that our education, we have a challenge there. We know that impacting women and youth is also a challenge. So what we're looking at is economic empowerment of women and youth, especially in the communities. I happen to be the executive chairman of my Enugu Daughters Community Development Initiative. I think charity should begin at home. We need to take these things back to the communities. And of course, we're also looking at personal development training for women and youths, because we should be showing up in our country. They always talk about, women are not showing up in the leadership. We need to do that. We need to look at health, maternal health. We also need to look at advocacy. And we're actually part of the fund, when you know very well, is going to go to support advocacy, going to support legal aid for abused women. We're very, very passionate about that. So basically, we are ready to collaborate with anyone that wants to bring value. We're not going to work with people who just want to do it for money. A lot of the organizations that are into that space, money may be brought and it's not used. Some of the projects are not finished. So we're going to do this in collaboration with project managers and fund managers that are credible, competent, and will not be there for what they can gain from it. So basically, those are the areas. But I believe that Gwen can put more light into.
Let me ask Lady Gwen a follow-up question to that, just to be clear about what will happen on Tuesday. This 10 billion naira that will be announced on Tuesday, is it the money that has been raised, or is it money on paper that you are expecting? And how are you hoping to raise this money, or have you raised this money if it's money that is already in the bank? Because I saw, as part of the excerpt from the document from your good selves, something about the diaspora remittances. So I'm wondering, how does that go into the pool?
Yeah. So thank you very much. So straight to your question, Tuesday is actually a stakeholder engagement.
Okay.
We're just making a public presentation of this initiative.
All right.
And it's a template we want to put in the system, just the way we have private equity funds and other commercial funds that are used now, outside the conventional banking system. We want a fund that is situated within the charity ecosystem. So the target investors include everyone today who is giving. Diaspora, there's statistics that 20% of all diaspora remittances goes into charity. But
that's like 20% of the $20 billion.
Yes. That's the data we have. And is that tracked? Is there a follow-on to that? You help somebody with the business, but what's the systemic way of measuring whether that particular intervention has achieved the goals? Were there preset goals? So this fund is just it's an awakening to everyone. Can we have a better structure of this fragmented charity that currently exists. So diasporans are part of the target invest. We won't call them investors, we'll call them donors.
Donors.
Yes. Individuals like you, current CSR companies, people do a lot of CSR, but how do they mark and track the metrics for impact? Especially when you talked about sustainability and generational. So if there's a systemic way, because really in fund administration, you always have targets. You have long-term, short-term, and all of that. So if there's a systemic way of having people collaborate for intervention, like she said, communities for communities. So the market women that currently do ESUSU and all of that, they could be part of the donors to this fund because they will be beneficiaries of the fund. Yeah, so we're saying it's not an investment vehicle, it's a philanthropy vehicle, but it's a structured vehicle for measuring impact.
Where will it be domiciled when you raise the money?
In Nigeria.
With who?
So with some banks, nominated banks.
Yeah, so part of we're in current, I don't know if they're allowed to say this, but we're in current conversation with some strong partners. Banwo Igodalo, for example, we're in conversation, with them to be our legal partners for this fund. We're in conversation with PwC. We've had progressive conversations with them. So we actually want to put this fund in a very institutionalized way that even international funders or donors will be very comfortable. So these are the kind of partners. So we're going to have partners in financial institutions. There will be collecting banks. There will be a fund manager. There will be fund administrators. There will be a formal structure, just like any other fund in any jurisdiction. We'll make sure. We've actually approached the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's not within their remit, but we said, this is what we want to do. We are seeking your advisory role here because it's outside their remit. So we are engaging stakeholders that we believe will add value. So the meeting on Tuesday is really for a wider stakeholder consultation, get feedback from people, and then next steps will be putting a working group together, to see how we can actualize this. And then fundraising, of course, and all of that will start.
I'd like to just say something that I think is profound. I'm one of those people that believe that charity must begin at home, in your space. And the idea of us just going internationally begging for grants are okay. But you must show that you're committed to the purpose. And that is one of the reasons I spoke to. They're even
drying up now with the American
exactly. And again, there's something I'd like to say because everybody's listening to me. Women, we have some mindset we need to shift. If you call women to buy Ashebi, I'm saying that, and I'm not saying women shouldn't buy Ashebi. The platforms will be buzzing. I run an organization called Women Aligned for Growth. Call them for impact. Maybe 20% will show up. So I'm saying to all of us, we need to shift our mindset and go to putting your money where your mouth is. I don't believe in begging anybody for money until I've put some money. This December, we're going to be doing some rice. I have put money, Gwen has put. Let's go back and get funds from our accounts. We all have money. You know you're very busy. I'm sure you have money. I'm sure you have. So we're all going to... you must, and the monies we're going to be looking for, we're not looking for millions. Little money, but numbers add up. I believe that many Nigerians are kind-hearted, but there has not been a credible structure that is harnessing those domestic contributions. It's very important. So that by the time we're going abroad, they say, what have you done? You can show them capacity. And I think that this fund, I'm not saying we're the only ones doing it, but one of the things I like us to achieve is capacity and competence, integrity, which is lacking in most of the funds. They bring money, before you know it, the money is gone. Nothing is achieved. I am, and I'm sure Lady Gwen is not going to be part of that. We are going to do this under credibility, honesty, integrity, everything that is principle-centered values that are missing in most of our lives. Thank you.
Fantastic. I mean, you said it's...
Maybe I can add something to that.
Very quickly.
Yes, very quickly. So this fund is not going to solve the problem of fragmentation of charity or philanthropy. It's a template that we want to put and to showcase that it's possible to actually make charity systematic and structured. So it's people can replicate the template. So this is what the engagement is, and there's always a first time. Government has done this in the past, but this is the first time I believe that private sector is actually leading, international, accredited funds.
And you say some of these funds will be recoverable.
Sure.
Yes.
But some of them may be used to do impacts, and you may not get the money back. But let me just say something quickly before we go. The government has a big role to play in upscaling women and youth impact in Nigeria. But I believe it should better government-private sector collaboration with private sector leading.
Absolutely.
That's my one of the things I'd like to see in place.
All right.
Thank
On
you.
that note, Dr. Nwakwesi
Thank
and
you so
Lady
much.
Gwen, we want to thank you so much. And we wish you the very best. The media will be there on Tuesday anyway
I hope you are
to
attending.
cover it.
I hope you're attending.
We will look in with you.
We need you to amplify the message.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
bless.
much.